Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to discuss how you can fly in first class redeeming your American Express membership reward points. Have you ever seen a first class experience on the internet, or maybe you walked past a first class seat on the way to your seat in the back of the plane, right next to the toilets, and thought to yourself, wow, it would be nice to get myself one of those first class seats. How do I do that? These first class seats don't have to be a fantasy. If you have American Express membership reward points, you can turn these dreams of sitting in the front of the plane into a reality. Now I know that most people who have American Express membership reward points don't know the power of the points. And one of the big things about redeeming these points is that most people don't realize which programs they can redeem them with to get themselves incredible value. If you're like most people, you probably look at your American Express account, you see all of these points you've been gaining over the years, but you haven't been really redeeming them because you don't know how to redeem them for good value. In this video, I'm going to show you the power of your points. I'm going to go over different examples of redeeming your points and using them for first class flights all around the world. In my opinion, business class is typically fine, and you don't really need to fly in first class unless you really want to travel lavishly. But for this video, we're going to remove all that humbleness because we are looking for YOLO, all-out first class flights in the front of the plane, sipping on the top glasses of champagne. I'm someone who's flown first class, and I'll admit that it is definitely excessive, but I loved every single minute of it. You get a way more spacious chair, you get yourself top shelf alcohol, there may have been things that you wanted to try but you're never willing to put out the cost to buy these different drinks. You also get yourself more personalized service. This is going to be first class. So stop letting your membership reward points collect cobwebs and dust. You know that they have value, so let's redeem them for top value. Let's put them to work to get you a stupid luxurious trip that you can show off to all of your friends and pretend like you're an elite for at least one day of your life. And for those of you who are interested in getting an American Express membership rewards earning card after watching this video to book your own first class luxurious flight, check out the links in my description box to learn more. If you decide to use any of my links for these cards, it does really help out the channel, and I'll be incredibly thankful for your support. Now, if you have been redeeming your American Express membership reward points either through the travel portal or for a statement credit up to this point, don't feel bad because the majority of people who have membership reward points, that is how they redeem them. But you don't want to do this moving forward because you're getting poor value for your points. If you want to book a first class flight with your American Express membership reward points through American Express's travel portal, it might end up costing like 800,000 membership reward points. You may have been saving up these points for many, many years, and I don't want you to blow them all on this one flight. You worked really hard for your points. We can do better. And the way we can do better is to redeem these points with transfer partners. Now I know that people who regularly watch my channel, or for anyone who's deeper into the points and miles game, this may seem like a no-brainer to you, but most people who have membership reward points don't even realize that transferring their points over to airlines is even an option. American Express has many different airline transfer partners, and most of them transfer at a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning that if you happen to have 300,000 American Express membership reward points and you want to transfer them over to Delta, you could transfer over these 300,000 membership reward points and get yourself 300,000 Delta Sky Miles. But you're not going to want to transfer your points to Delta for a first class flight. That was just for an example. In fact, the airlines that are in the US that are transfer partners of American Express, such as JetBlue or Hawaiian Airlines, you're not going to want to transfer to any one of these airlines to get yourself a first class flight. And the reason for this is because, one, none of these actually have any true first class. Some of them may call themselves first class, whether it be domestic first class, or they might just end up being in the front seat and they just call it first class. But true first class typically has 4 options on the plane, being economy, some type of premium economy, business class, and then first class. But even if Delta did offer a true first class, chances are you still wouldn't want to transfer over your American Express membership reward points to your Delta Sky Miles account. And it's because Delta works on dynamic pricing, meaning that the price of the ticket is going to determine how many miles is required. So if you happen to be booking a ticket that costs $1,000, ends up costing 100,000 points, if the ticket cost goes up to being $2,000, it's going to require 200,000 points to make that booking. But not every airline goes off of dynamic pricing. And many of the international airlines that are partnered with American Express have award charts where you can end up getting yourself great value for your points. So now that I've explained all of that, let's look at booking a first class flight over to Europe. And the program that has the most first class award availability is going to be British Airways. So if you want to fly in first class over to London, hang out with Big Ben and also Tower Bridge, sure, the food over there may not be great and the people also may end up being miserable, but London is still a fantastic place to visit. You can transfer your American Express points over to British Airways and fly from the East Coast of the US over to London in first class for only 68,000 miles. Sounds pretty great, right? Well, there's a little bit of a caveat when it comes to British Airways. Although they may end up having a lot of award availability, they also have enormous taxes and fees, $1,000 in taxes and fees. Now, if you're someone who's rich and you compare the ticket cost for a first class flight over to London, you may end up thinking this is a good deal. But for the rest of us average Joes who are just playing make-believe with our socioeconomic situation using points, $1,000 can really hurt. But don't worry, there are still options to fly in first class using your membership award points without paying $1,000 in taxes and fees. Let's move away from England and look over at Germany. Now with Germany, the airline that you're going to want to fly first class with is going to be Lufthansa. Now Lufthansa is not a transfer partner of American Express, but they are part of Star Alliance. So what this means is that if you happen to find other airlines who will partner with Star Alliance, you can book the first class flights using those airlines. And if transfer partners that are in Star Alliance connected with American Express are going to be Air Canada and Avianca. Now, although Avianca's website is worse and always tends to have bugs when I'm using it, they have a better deal to fly with first class on Lufthansa. Booking a first class flight on Lufthansa using Avianca Life Miles is only going to require 87,000 miles. And the taxes and fees are close to about $100, which is way more reasonable for us fake rich points and miles people. Lufthansa has a really cool looking first class product, and if you happen to be flying out of Germany back over to the US, they have one of the best offering first class experiences on the ground, where they'll have a really nice first class lounge, and also they'll bring you in a Porsche over to the plane. Talk about living lavishly. Now, finding first class award availability is a lot harder with Lufthansa as compared to with British Airways, but if you can find availability for first class, it's definitely end up being an incredible travel experience. Now, if you want to fly over to Africa in first class, you would have to connect either in the Middle East or over in Europe, but you would be able to use Lufthansa to fly in first class from Germany over to Johannesburg, South Africa. Next, let's look at flying over to Asia in first class. And as cool as Europe is, Asian hospitality is above all. And you can fly in first class over to different parts of Asia using your American Express membership award points. Now, I've found that the most availability and also the best way to connect in Asia is to first fly over to Japan. And what may end up being arguably the best first class deal in the points and miles game is to fly over to Japan from the west coast of the US on ANA. I flew ANA first class earlier this year, and I really felt like a rock star. I was drinking Hibiki 17, unlimited Krug champagne. It was the best travel experience of my entire life. Now, what makes this deal so great is that it's only 72,500 Virgin Atlantic miles plus a couple $100 in taxes and fees. Virgin Atlantic has a partnership with ANA, so if you can find award availability, you can call up Virgin Atlantic and have them make this first class award booking. Another way to fly to Japan in first class would be with one of the top airlines in the world, and what some people would consider the best cabin crew, and that is going to be with Singapore Airlines. Singapore Airlines has a fifth freedom flight flying from Los Angeles over to Narita Airport in Japan. Now, this flight is on their 777 and not their A380, but it is still a stellar product. Most airlines that have first class have either 8 or sometimes 6 seats, but Singapore Airlines only has 4 on this Boeing 777. And similar to ANA, Singapore Airlines is going to offer top shelf alcohol, and a high percentage of people who've flown on many first class products have said that Singapore Airlines has the best cuisine out of any airline. If you want to book first class on Singapore Airlines, if you can find Save Reward availability, it's 121,000 KrisFlyer miles. If it's Advantage availability, it ends up being 187,000 KrisFlyer miles. Now, I understand that flying with Singapore Airlines in first class is more expensive than it would be to book with ANA, but the thing that I've noticed with Singapore Airlines is that although finding award availability for first class may not be always super easy to find, finding multiple seats with Singapore Airlines is a lot more likely than it is going to be with ANA. So although that it is really cool to fly in first class around the world, there are many people who want to travel with another person. So if you're looking to travel with another person, paying that premium can be worth it so that you two can stick together, because as awesome as it is to fly in first class, experiencing it with your loved one is gonna be a way more memorable event than doing it by yourself. So now that I went over options to fly over to Europe, Africa, Asia in first class, now let's check out the land down under. If you're looking to fly in first class over to Australia, you can do it on Qantas for 163,000 Qantas miles. Now, just like with Singapore Airlines, you could book this Qantas flight directly with Qantas. I was recently in Sydney, Australia, and I actually had the option to make this booking, but I decided not to jump on it and just fly in business class with United Polaris from Sydney to LA. Now, I'm willing to pay the miles to have an awesome first class experience, But to me, Qantas first class just doesn't have any wow factor to it. The cool part is that it's on an A380 and the aircraft does have an onboard lounge, but when I look at it, it just doesn't seem like it's worth me dropping over 150,000 membership reward points to make this first class booking. I need to be blown away to be dropping this amount of points. Now Qantas does have a new first class product coming out, and when that does arrive, I might be willing to drop the points for that flight. Another land down under that doesn't really get much talk in the points and miles game is all of South America. And I think the reason for this is because they don't really have any luxurious airlines. But Emirates recently added a 5th Freedom flight from Miami over to Bogota, Colombia. And you can fly in Emirates first class for only 61,000 Emirates Sky Miles. Now, this flight is under 4 hours and it is on one of Emirates' older planes, but even still, you get to fly on Emirates first class, which is what everyone wants to fly. And the last international, but certainly not the least, would be flying over to the Middle East. In fact, most people would probably say that the Middle Eastern airlines are the best in the world. If you fly on one of these Middle Eastern airlines in first class, you're gonna feel like a prince or a princess. And the one that I wanna fly, looking over to flying to Abu Dhabi, would be with Etihad in first class. Now, there's a couple different options to fly over to Abu Dhabi with Etihad in first class. You could fly on the 787, and this would require 160,000 American Express membership reward points transferring over to your Etihad account, or you could fly the way that most people are going to want to do it, which is going to be on the A380 on the Apartments in the Sky, and this is going to require 200,000 American Express membership reward points transferring over to your Etihad account. Now, if you haven't seen photos of Etihad Apartments, it looks like an absolutely insane experience. And the onboard lounge and bar is light years ahead of what something like Qantas is offering. So even though Etihad is asking for 200,000 miles, there's definitely a large wow factor to this product. Now, Air Canada used to have the ability to book first class with Etihad, but there's some type of dispute going on with the two airlines. So because of that, the better deal that Air Canada was offering is currently not available. But there you have it. That's my list of ways to blow through your American Express membership reward points and get yourself a lavish first class experience. Hopefully you enjoy this video and let me know in the comments section down below. Are you thinking about booking any of these first class products? Now, if you happen to have any questions about booking any of these first class products, please drop that down in the comment section down below. I'll do the best I can to answer it. And if you happen to really like this video, do me a favor. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this video, and have a beautiful rest of your day. Peace.